welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a brand new video. And if you didn't watch my first vlog on what I got for Christmas video that I posted the other day, then Happy New Year. I thought I'd come back today with a little bit of the goals of 2024. Obviously this is a big year for me. I've got a new role coming in the fact of being mother to this tiny baby that will hopefully soon be here if she takes the hint. But yeah, I just thought I would share some of the goals that I've got on my little to-do list for the year kind of thing. So I hope you enjoy watching and I hope it motivates you, and I'd love to know in the comments what some of your goals are for 2024, because I'm really nosy and I also find it quite inspiring listening to other people's views and goals, and yeah, just seeing what they hope to achieve this year, and hopefully we can all achieve them together. So as mentioned, I've got to readjust myself because I'm uncomfortable, and you can obviously see by the Moses basket in the corner, but my biggest goal is obviously to birth this baby in a nice way. I feel like I've been pregnant forever. I've got a few weeks left hopefully, and yeah, I want to meet her. I'm so excited to meet her now. Yes, that is my main goal for the year. And then obviously after that it's to look after baby girl, which is very, very daunting, but at the same time I'm looking forward to the challenge. And yes, I'm quite nervous about it now, more so the looking after her than the birthing, but I just can't wait to get to know her and to get to know her little personality, and yeah, just look after her and bring her up as best I can, to be honest. So yeah, that is kind of like goal number 2. And at the same time as that, I also want to make sure that Trix doesn't feel like she's been pushed out. That is like a real concern of mine, and I know I'm not alone. I know there's loads of pregnant women, especially with their first child, that their fur baby has been like their number one, and still is, to be fair. But at the same time they've now got to divide their time between the two, and yeah, so I just need to make sure that Trix is still as happy as ever, and yeah, still feels loved and not pushed out in any way. On to my next goal, and it's kind of like a big bracket with lots of little bits in it, and that is my health. I really want to take my health more seriously this year. Pregnancy has taught me just how amazing our bodies are, but just how detrimental what we do to our bodies can be. Obviously through having like the HG morning sickness, to having the gestational diabetes and various other things in between, which I've kind of kept private. I just feel like I really need to take my health as more of a priority, especially now somebody is going to be relying on me. Yeah, I just need to look after myself so that then I can look after others as well. So the first thing under that kind of bracket is to allow myself to heal. This is something I'm not normally very good at. However, obviously birthing a baby, whether that's natural or whether that's C-section, either way, you have a lot of healing, and it takes a lot of time to heal from that. It's a big, big thing. So I need to slow down, just enjoy all the newborn snuggles and getting to know baby girl and everything, and I just need to allow myself to heal basically and not rush anything. I think that's going to be my biggest challenge, is to not rush into going for walks, or you know, like long walks, or getting back into workouts and things like that. I just need to take it steady and kind of go a bit old school. They used to say like it was so many weeks in the bed, so many weeks on the bed, and then a couple of weeks on the sofa or something like that. I can't remember the full saying, but I kind of feel like I need to live by that expectation, and then hopefully I will be able to heal. So I've got all of the snacks I've got all of the films behind me and the books and everything in between, like cuddling and feeding and changing and looking after a newborn. So I've got all of the things that will hopefully make me take it easy, she says. So I just need to put that into practice. Then I've got like a little triangle also to do with health, of things that I need, and I say I need because I do need to achieve them this year, and that is to start with upping my water intake. I've come to realise how good upping the water intake is. My skin, I don't know if you've noticed, is a lot better since I'm drinking a lot more, to try and flush out sugars in my blood for my testing, and I kind of want to stick with that because yeah, my skin's better, I feel better, like just so many things, and hopefully when I'm not pregnant it will also regulate things as well, but yeah, I've definitely seen just how important upping my water intake is, so I kind of want to stick with that and keep upping it, and make sure, especially like on hot days in the summer, I'm not very good at drinking much water, so I definitely need to change that, and so I've made that one of my goals. Also, I want to eat a more balanced diet. I've kind of learnt through the gestational diabetes more about portion control than I ever have. I know now that I was eating too big of a portion of the wrong things and not enough of the right things, so I kind of want to swap that out and do a little bit better with that. So yeah, definitely eating a more balanced diet. And the last thing in that triangle is obviously to move more. Now I know this is contradicting the take it easy and allow myself to heal, but this is like a whole year goal, so I'm going to allow myself a chunk of time to heal and to take it easy and things like that, and then I'm slowly going to build up to moving more and getting out of the house for exercise, maybe doing some home workouts, things like that. Not even from like a I need to lose the weight kind of thing, I just want my body to work better, if that makes sense. So that's kind of why I've put it in like a little triangle. It's just those three things I think will just improve my overall health, and obviously any bonuses, whether that's I lose weight or whether I tone up or whether my skin looks better, any of those bonuses are just that, a bonus. And yeah, also in the health front as well, although outside of this triangle, I really want to try to keep on top of my skin, making it look healthy, making it feel healthy, keeping up with a skincare routine, even if it's just basic, because yeah, there's been times in my pregnancy where I've wallowed in bed all day and I know I haven't washed my face and I know I haven't put any cream on, or I'll go outside and I haven't got any SPF on, just those like little things like that. Talking of which, I really want to get into using a serum as well, so if you have any recommendations of good serums, then please leave them down below, because it's a minefield and I feel like I'm so out of the loop. I used to be so focused on skincare, you know, I'd get skincare advent calendars to try out the latest products, I'd be forever in Boots and Debenhams, looking at stuff. I'd be in TK Maxx trying to find the bargain of the really good brands that I just couldn't normally afford ordinarily. Yeah, just things like that. So I feel so out of the loop, so if you've got any suggestions on serums, then please let me know, because I'm struggling. And then lastly on the health bracket is to not neglect my mental health. It's been very much an up and down roller coaster for the last couple of years. Obviously I've had a lot going on. I've spoken a little bit about this on my channel since I've been back, from being in like an abusive relationship and getting out of that, to then everything having to go to court, and then some stresses in between. I just feel like my mental health has just been a bit of a roller coaster, and obviously this pregnancy in a way hasn't helped. Although I'm very, very grateful for the pregnancy, there's been health concerns throughout that have kind of put a strain on my mental health, and have caused a lot of worry and stuff like that. So yeah, I know that going into this new role of being a mum to baby girl as well as to Trix, obviously, I know that there's going to be times when it affects my mental health, whether that be because I can't give Trix the attention that she wants, or whether that's because I'm getting no sleep, and obviously that affects mental health greatly, to whether it's because baby girl, you know, might be poorly, she might have a cold, and so that, you know, just things like that. I really want to not neglect my mental health, because I know when my mental health gets too far down, it's such a struggle to get it back up. So I kind of want to recognise the signs and be able to tell people as well. I think that's a big thing for me. I'm not very good at telling people when I'm struggling. I'm getting better, like with Ash and everything. Like, there's times when he's like, I know something's wrong, but you're just not telling me, and obviously then I admit it. But there's also other times, like yesterday for example, I basically turned around to him and I said, I'm getting cabin fever, like I literally feel like the walls are closing in, and he was like, that's fine, we'll go out, it's absolutely fine. And I did feel a lot better for that, for going out, to be fair. It was only to Asda we went because everywhere was flooded. So we couldn't go anywhere like for a walk or anything like that, which is what I would prefer. But yeah, basically for like miles around we are currently underwater, which makes me grateful to be living in a flat because the water hasn't got to me. And then on to work-wise, I do have some work-wise goals. I would really love to expand and grow my blog, my YouTube channels and my social media. I do have like numbers in mind of what I'd like to reach to, but they're not numbers that I'm going to share publicly, just because I don't feel like I need to. If someone likes the content I put out and wants to follow me and like engage and things like that, then obviously that's great, but I'm not wanting to plug the numbers, because I feel like that's when it becomes, what's the word, like a little bit fake, a little bit like if you focus too much on the numbers game, then you don't get the enjoyment out of it. And I love making the videos and I love editing them and, you know, talking to people, whether it's in comments or messages or anything like that. So yeah, I kind of want to keep it fun, because it, you know, it basically is a hobby, but I would love to be able to create a work from it. This year I'm currently on maternity allowance, but that will run out later in the year, and I'd like to then be able to maybe make a bit of money from these what were hobbies, that I can then contribute to the household still after that. So the only like goal, other than like the numbers ones that I'm keeping in my head, the only other goal is the date that I want to get there for. Not too much of a gap, not quite a crossover, because I think that would be really difficult on like tax returns and stuff. I'm not the best at maths, but just so there's not too much of a gap that we're kind of left without that much needed income, because let's face it, everything has gone up. And just to put a little quick plug in here, if you do want to follow my blog, my social media, my other YouTube channel, if you're not subscribed to this one, then obviously please do, but everything is always linked down below in my videos, and I'd really appreciate the support. So then the next goal is very generic, and there's not really something that is achievable. It's more of a like lifetime thing, and for me it's about changing my mindset and all things like that, but it's to choose happiness, which I know sounds really cliche, really cheesy, but as I mentioned like just now, to do with my mental health, the last couple of years have really battered me, and this year I hope will be different. I think last year it kind of battered me quite a bit, and I think I kept a lot of it hidden off of YouTube, but at the beginning of last year I said to myself, like, this is going to be my year. I'm not going to let people tread all over me. I'm not going to do something just because someone else wants me to. I'm going to stand up and essentially fight for what I want, even if it upsets people in a sense. Like, tactically I wouldn't be, you know, harsh and mean to somebody on purpose, but at the same time I don't want to say yes to something that I don't really want to do, you know, and I don't want to do stuff that my heart isn't really in. And I definitely think I did that. I'm definitely a lot more honest with people. If I don't want to do something, or I don't agree with something that they've said or done, then they know about it. Constructive criticism though, not harsh. But I do think I left a lot of that off of YouTube, in the sense of, obviously finding out I was pregnant was a huge deal, and a huge stress. I have like touched on it slightly, but basically me and Ash lived in different parts of the country, so we kind of had to make our decisions, and we decided that we were going to make it work, and we needed to come together, kind of thing. So we did, which meant that I needed to move up to him rather than him move down to me, because obviously his job paid more anyway, and I would be losing my jobs because one of them I hadn't been there long enough to claim anything, and the other one didn't really have a maternity package anyway, so yeah, it just wouldn't be worth staying. So it was decided that I'd move up to Ash. So obviously then I had the stress of, we were trying to find somewhere to live, and then once we found somewhere to live, we needed to furnish it, because obviously we didn't have anything. I moved back home and I just had like my physical, you know, like belongings. I didn't have like sofas, cookers, those big things that you would ordinarily save up for. We didn't have, because we didn't have that much time, let's face it. And I'm very, very grateful to family and friends who helped kit us out, because I generally couldn't have done it without them. Like, not at all would we have been able to be where we are now, kind of thing. Yeah, so I am very, very grateful to that. And then obviously it came to the actual moving up, and I found that a lot harder than I would let on. I think I spent about 6 weeks before I moved up just cuddling Trix and crying. That was all I did, because I just didn't want to leave her, and I didn't want her to think I'd abandoned her or anything like that. But I think she's kind of got over it. She's got used to the routine, and yeah, I think she's okay with it. And I phone, like video call her all the time, and yeah, she still reacts to my voice. And like over Christmas she did a couple of things that I wouldn't say were naughty, but that were wrong, and I just told her off the same way that I normally would, and she instantly listened, despite the fact that other people had tried to tell her off, and she just didn't bat an eyelid at them. But as soon as Mum had spoken, she was like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. So that kind of like made me smile and put me more at ease as well, because I was like, yeah, she still knows I'm boss, kind of thing. So yeah, like that kind of stresses I tried to keep off of YouTube as much as possible. You could probably tell, like in some of the videos when I was editing, I was like, you can tell I've been crying, or like you can tell my mood's down and things like that. So yeah, this year I want to choose happiness. I don't want to let the stresses of others affect me, which is something that happened towards the end of last year. It's something that I'm not going to go into on here publicly, but let's just say, like, Vlogmas was perfect, Christmas hit and stress began, and I feel like it's just been weeks and weeks of stress and upheaval and changes and all things like that, and opinions on certain people changing, should I say. And yeah, I'm not down for it anymore. At one point I know Ash thought I was going to go into labour because of the stress of it all, and I think that frightened him, and I think it frightened me slightly as well, into thinking like I can still care about that situation, but I can't let those stresses affect me in the way that they were, which is why I'm choosing happiness. If I've got to turn my phone off and just ignore it for a little while, put it on airplane mode or whatever, and just say if it's an actual emergency, phone Ash, then I will, you know. Yeah, I've realised that sometimes I just need to switch off from it, and as much as I'm very much involved in the certain situation at the minute, at the same time, my health, the health of my family comes first, and yeah, that to be honest, that is the be all and end all. As long as we're healthy and happy, that's all that matters to me. And then a few little goals that I just wanted to add on the end is number one, hopefully potentially moving towards the end of the year. I'd love to be settled in a different place for Christmas next year, mainly because baby girl will nearly be a year old by that point, which means she'll be on the move and she'll have toys that will help her to be on the move. You know, by that age toys get bigger, there'll be like a walker, or there'll be like things to help her stand and strengthen her legs and all things like that. And I really want to get her one of those what do you call them, like toddler bikes, the ones with the long handle, so that when we're out and about she can be on that, you know, and things like that, and hopefully she enjoys that, because I loved mine as a toddler. So I'm kind of hoping that I can get one that will last 2 or 3 years or something like that. Although Mum very kindly said that she would probably get me one, so that will probably be baby girl's Christmas present next year, I'd imagine. But I just feel like this flat isn't suitable for that. Like, it's suitable for me and Ash, and don't get me wrong, like baby girl's got a lovely nursery, lovely size nursery in the other room, which obviously you've seen in vlogs and things, which always looks cluttered at the minute. But that's the other thing, we need to kind of work out where we can put that clutter, because right now it's stacked, but when she starts moving she's either going to be trying to pull it down or climbing on it or anything like that. And also, to get into our bedroom there's a step. The steps to get into the flat full stop are going to be really difficult to try and get the pushchair out, then the child out, and all the stuff that goes with it. It's real going to be like an operation to just get out the flat. So whilst I think it was perfect for me and Ash, I do think that we need something. It doesn't even have to be bigger, just a different kind of layout for me is what I think. Because yeah, it's just not logistically gonna work. So my goal is to try and move and be settled for Christmas. Even if it was just like a tiny house, still 2 bedrooms, the tiniest back garden that probably just like housed a shed, you know. Like, I'd be happy with that. I'm not expecting to live in a mansion or anything like that. To be honest, I would hate that. I don't like anything that's too big. But just somewhere that, like, maybe we've got an attic or like cupboard space or things like that, where we can actually store stuff. Because as you can see, like behind me, it's just like constant, like basically in here there's just something against the wall everywhere, and it's the same in the nursery. And I just feel like as we get more stuff, which we're gonna, because you know the family is growing, and as like I say, as baby girl gets older, she's gonna have, you know, like toys and things like that. I just feel like it's going to become cluttered so quickly. So yeah, I'd like to progress and move on, and ideally I'd love to move back to Somerset somewhere. I really do miss it. When we go back, the second I literally go over the Somerset border, I'm smiling. Yeah, there's no place like home in that sense. And to be fair, Ash really likes Somerset as well, so I don't feel like I'm pushing him to go that way. He enjoys it, and I love like the freedom it gives, because there's just so much green space, there's so many coastal places you can go, so much like free stuff you can do. Whereas where I'm to at the minute, there's not a lot, and as I say, we're all underwater at the minute, so yeah, it's all a bit of a faff at the minute. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to bring a child up necessarily where we are, because not in the place we are, but in the overall town is quite rough. So it's not somewhere I don't feel safe going out on my own in the streets, to be fair. I certainly wouldn't like catch the bus and go into town by myself. I'd only go into town like if Ash is there. There's nowhere enough I'd go into town. Yeah, so we shall see. But fingers crossed, and please keep your fingers crossed for me as well. Sticking with the potential move, I also want to declutter some of my belongings. I can't do that just yet because obviously I don't know what size I'm going to be after I have baby girl. But I know I've got too many clothes for starters. That's one area I really need to declutter. I've got too many clothes and too many shoes. So I really want to declutter those because I don't think I'm going to wear half of it, but I can't get rid of it until I know, you know, if I'm going to stay this size or if I'm going to go back to my normal size, or if I'm going to be smaller, if I'm going to be bigger. Like, I just don't know at the minute, so I've just had to keep it all. And also obviously body shape, that will probably change as well. So things that suited me before might not suit me now, and things that I used to wear I might not deem suitable now. I used to have like some low off the shoulder like Bardo tops, but I kind of feel like they're not really suitable for mum life, partly because you can guarantee that baby girl's probably going to pull it down and reveal all to everybody at the worst possible time. But also like just in the restrictive sense, like I probably wouldn't find it very comfortable with a Bardo top on trying to carry a child. So yeah, just things like that. Like, that's my main area that I want to declutter. And then I think probably declutter some of the flat stuff as well, because obviously there's things that we bought that we thought we needed at the time, or things we were given that perhaps we don't need now. And there's things that me and Ash have already said that when we do get a bit of spare cash, we'd like to kind of, what's the word? I don't know what the word is. Not make it more like interior design friendly by any means, but have things that are more matching, you know, like matching utensils in the kitchen, or you know, just those things, like making it so it's a bit more homely, you know, that kind of thing. We got all of the basics and things like that. We got literally like the basic essential ranges of things, which was great for now, but I kind of feel like I want to then invest into the slightly nicer things, whether it's like a nice cutlery set, because right now I've got like odds and sods like you would get in a Greasy Spoon cafe, those kind of like cutlery bits, and like spoons from Poundland, and every time I make a cup of tea they bend, and just things like that. So yeah, I kind of want to declutter with some of that. Although I'm going to bring more in, I want it to be like things that make me smile, things that make me happy, things that make it feel more of a home, because I feel like that is kind of who I am in a sense. I'm very much like a homemaker, a homebody. I love being in my home, you know, things like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love going out and stuff, but just being able to like come back of an evening, have a nice cozy meal, relax on the sofa, light the candles under the blanket, like that's just me, and I love it. And then the last thing I want to do still goes down the route of happiness, and it kind of ties in with the decluttering as well, and that is to choose more experiences over material things. So I would rather go out for a day to a zoo and spend that money on that, or go to the beach, or various things like that, you know. It doesn't have to be like experience gift days. It could literally be go to the garden centre for a cuppa and a slice of cake. It doesn't have to be like a red letter day or anything like that, but just to choose experiences over the material things, because like I say, this flat's small, so I don't really need that many material things. One thing I found about this flat as well is there's not really many plug sockets, so if you buy anything that needs a plug, or like that needs mains electric, like it's a nightmare. So yeah, I just feel like the experiences will be so much more. So I think next year for like Christmas, I will probably ask for gift voucher type things. I'm tempted to ask for a National Trust membership maybe next year, or the, what's it called? I don't know what it's called, but like the wildlife, like wildlife and bird membership thing that you get to go to all the nature reserves and things like that, because while some of them are free, a lot of them you need to pay. So just things like that where we can take our cameras, we can have a little wander, like baby girl can toddle along, yeah, but we can like get outside whilst not necessarily having to pay, if that makes sense. So I'm tempted to ask for more of those types of things next year, well, this year for Christmas, ready for next year. But in the meantime, definitely just getting out and about, exploring the area here, because if we are going to move, then obviously we won't get that chance potentially again unless we're up seeing family, and then you don't really go anywhere if you're seeing family. So yeah, there's plenty of places to go around here, so hopefully if you're subscribed, you'll see the vlogs of those, and I'll try and explore the area that little bit more where we can. But yeah, that is my goals for 2024. I'm sorry I've rambled on quite a bit, but there was a few things that I just wanted to get off my chest, and I thought if I put it in a video, I have also done a blog post as well, which you'll find all linked down below. But yeah, I just kind of felt like I wanted to get it off my chest, and if I kind of put it out there, then I have more motivation to achieve it, and I can always go back and watch this video myself and be like, that's the goal I'm going to achieve this month, kind of thing, you know, and just motivate myself to do better, because my phrase for 2024, I'm not normally somebody that does like a phrase or a word or anything like that, but I thought this year I'm gonna switch it up, and I'm gonna choose a phrase that I'm gonna kind of live my life by this year. And my phrase is to be the best version of me. It doesn't mean I'm going to be amazing every day. It doesn't mean I'm suddenly going to be perfect, because I'm not. But if I try to be my best version that day, then I can only be winning, right? But thank you so much for watching. I hope this inspired and motivated you to set some goals yourself. And yeah, I will be back very soon with another video. Bye bye.